Hello there, Internet! Welcome to another episode of the Tech Zero Pathcast. As promised in our latest episode, which if you haven't watched, you should definitely go watch. The Xenoblade X Definitive Edition is finally on Switch. And today, our friend Tech, which is also my co-host and is right here with us, introduce yourself. He has cooked up a 5-star course for us in a theory that we think could recontextualize the entirety of not just Xenoblade X, not just Xenoblade the franchise, but literally, I'm talking about the entirety of Xenoblade and Xenosaga as an entire concept. Take the floor, Tech. Okay. Also, Pathkeeper is with us.
He hasn't heard this
as one
theory,
of our
way.
observants.
Always.
So I have heard the theory one of the days. Path hasn't heard it. Tech is the one cooking it. So this is just gonna go crazy. I hope y'all enjoy. And before we start, y'all know the drill. Like and subscribe. Share the video as much as possible. We really want people to watch our content, and we're trying to make it as short as possible. And again, the Fire Emblem video that we promised is coming soon. We just had a few problems with scheduling and also some recording issues that we will solve eventually. So don't worry, the Fire Emblem episode is coming soon. And also, we're planning soon. This is not a current thing, but we're definitely planning on, getting those weekly videos in, getting those monthly videos in. So we definitely are working on that. Anyways, Tech, take the floor.
Alright, now people, first of all, I just want to preface this with, I haven't played Xenosaga. My entire knowledge of Xenosaga comes from videos that I've seen explaining the lore. I understand things in a general sense, but I don't truly comprehend the minutia, so there might be things here that straight up cannot work. But if they do, please don't get mad at me. I'm just trying my best. Now then, this theory is going to be all about how Xenoblade X could potentially tie into the greater franchise as a whole. And it starts with the goddamn Nopon. This is a horrible Nopon drawing. Just imagine this is a good Nopon. Now, the Nopon was the reason for why I started going in this rabbit hole. Now, in Xenoblade 2, right? When the architect is explaining the backstory of the world, they show an evolutionary tree, right? And you got all these different species branching out. But there's one species that doesn't appear in that tree. And I looked at it very closely. It doesn't appear there. And that species is the Nopon. The Nopon did not evolve from Klaus's Madeling in the Xenoblade 2 world. They just appeared randomly. To add further evidence to this weirdness, in Xenoblade 3, right? The only creatures that are not controlled by Zed and the Mobius is the Nopon. They have no control over them. And the Nopon are just immortal in that realm. So it's like, why are the Nopon so special? Also, you have the Nopon Archsages. Like, you have Nopon Sages in Xenoblade X, Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade 3, and then you have the Nopon Archsage. And it's like, dude, why are there so many Nopon that just have wacky, unexplained powers? That, like, they just appear out of nowhere. Why are they mystical like this? Now, you could say, oh, well, they're the mascot creature, so they just get special privileges. But I think that there's something more to this. And this theory might genuinely be my it's so wacky, but I feel like it has potential. The theory, Nopon come from a special place. Nopon come from the upper domain in Xenosaga. Now this is crazy, but the evidence that I have to suggest this is that the Zohar, which in Xenoblade is known as the Conduit, is basically a gateway from the lower domain to the upper domain. Now, the upper domain, we don't know much about it. We know that, what's his name? Dmitry Yuriev saw the upper domain.
Who saw the upper domain?
He saw the upper domain.
And just saw fear. He saw.
He was scared. He was scared of it. So, like, that's what we know about the upper domain. Also, that there's a guy named Udu who lives up there. And basically in Xenosaga, from what I understood, the world is on a constant loop. However, Udu sometimes introduces chaotic variables for his own amusement, basically. Now then, the Zohar is the conduit, is the gateway. So what I'm proposing here is that when Klaus did the massive explosion, what happened was that the Napon came from the upper domain, passed through the Zohar into the worlds of Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2, and Xenoblade X. Also, another crazy thing that comes from this theory is that the Great Napon Arcsage that you meet in Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 3, that takes you to an alternate dimension, can bring characters from other worlds and wants you to fight so he can spectate. I'm saying that the Napon Arcsage is Udu. And the reason for why Dmitry was so terrified is for the same reason that characters in Dragon Ball are terrified of Xeno. You have a baby-like character with so much power. That would be genuinely terrifying. So, like, it's such a wacky thing to say that, like, I myself am like, there's no way this could be true. But it just makes sense. But parting from that place, I then started thinking about Xenoblade X. And then I realized, Napon are indigenous to Mira. And then I thought a bit more. And I was like, wait a minute. Could the planet Mira exist in the upper domain? Could that be a thing that is true? And then ideas just started flowing. And I was like, hold on. If Mira's in the upper domain, then we can have aliens in Xenoblade X without it conflicting with Xenosaga. Because what happens is that all the aliens are encountered in the upper domain. But now, this is when I truly start cooking. Let me present you a proposed timeline for how these events could be playing out. So, we starting with the original Earth. I'm gonna color this one blue. This is our Earth. Now then, in Earth, they discover the Zohar. Stuff happens. You have the Saviorite rebels. You have the whole Xenosaga plot going on. You have the whole Xenoblade 2 plot going on, and you have the Xenoblade X plot going on. So basically, what's going on is that, Basically, what's going on is that you have aliens in the form of the ghosts and the ganglion trying to attack Earth. Meanwhile, at the same time, you have human conflict brewing on planet Earth. Now, first of all, Elma comes in and she warns the government that aliens are coming and they're going to have a war and they're trying to wipe out the Earth. So, the government creates the Earth-Life Colonization Project. However, they don't tell the general public that the Earth-Life Colonization Project is gonna be to survive an exploding Earth. They tell them that they're gonna colonize other planets, which is why in Lore Dump Radio Moment, they don't say that they're escaping from other things. They're just saying, we're gonna colonize Earth, just so that they don't spread mass panic. Now, as the two conflicts are going on, you have this one guy named Klaus, and he wants to be a god. So, he does the thing, and boom, Earth explodes. Now, a couple of things happen in this moment. First of all, with the power of the Trinity Core processor, we end up getting the realms of Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2. Right? I'm gonna color Xenoblade 2 in red.
Go on. Keep cooking, but we're all quiet. But it's because we're locked in.
Okay. So, these are the two worlds. This one's from Xenoblade 1, and this one from Xenoblade 2. Now, Xenoblade 1 only has one piece of the Trinity Core processor, which is Ontos, which is the being. Now, what was the being of Earth at the time of the split? It was a being of conflict. And thus, when the Xenoblade 1 world was born, it took the being from the original Earth, and it became a world of conflict between two sides, the Bionis and the Mechonis. Now, Xenoblade 2 had two Trinity Core processors, so it was able to recreate the original Earth more accurately. So accurately, in fact, that Klaus thought that the Xenoblade 2 world was the original world, and that everyone in it had died. When in reality, some people moved into the Xenoblade 2 world, but in reality, this is a new world. It isn't the original body. So, then, what happened to the original Earth? And this is where I start cooking. The original Earth.
Bro, you said you started cooking. You were already cooking. Keep going.
The original Earth got sent through the upper domain and became Mira. The people that lived on the original Earth traveled immediately to the upper domain, appeared out of nowhere, and became known as the Sumerian Foundation or Sumerian Federation, which are the predecessors to humans in Xenoblade X. What we have is that we have three Earths at the same time. Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2, and then we have Xenoblade X. During every event, there was the white whale escaping from the Earth. However, it got caught in the explosion. And since it got caught in the explosion, it too got sent into the upper domain. And since it got sent into the upper domain, they were able to find the original Earth. However, they found the original Earth at a different point in time. I haven't decided which I prefer, I think I'm gonna choose which one I prefer right now. I prefer the idea that Xenoblade X, the white whale, got sent into the future, into the upper domain, and thus they meant a future version of their past Earth that was teleported via the conduit. Then at the same time,
let me add to this. It would also fit really well with the way Xenoblade X is structured, because when you look at the wildlife of Mira, for example, the Grexes and the Millosaurus Eternus, the Eternal Millosaurus are, for example, just long-necked dinosaurs. And the Grexes are just bigger versions of, like, weird dog-wolf hybrids, you know, that just evolved. It's like a natural evolution took place in the world because of being affected by being in the upper domain and also being sent through time. And it also
crazy because in one side
it also kind of fits because if you look at Godzilla, like this reminds me of Godzilla, where Earth evolved because of Godzilla. Kind of like the same thing happened here. Would be cool.
Yeah, upper domain just altered certain physics and thus forced the animals to change. And by the way, this is interesting because in Xenoblade X there is a side quest where you get to investigate the creators of this alien race. And when you do, they look just like regular humans. But here's the thing though, if these are the predecessors to humans, why haven't they changed? Why do they still look exactly the same, despite the fact that this was thousands of years ago? Evolution must have taken place. the explanation, they are the same generation of humans. So the wildlife has gotten to evolve, but the humans from the past look the same as the humans from modern time because they're the same kind of human. They haven't had the chance to evolve. Now then, at the same time that all this is going on, Xenosaga events are happening. I can't be too specific with this because I don't truly understand what happened in Xenosaga, but I do know that they left Earth, and then when they tried to come back, it wasn't there. This would explain why it wasn't there. It got moved through into the upper domain. Now then, the humans
it would also be cool to get like this big realization of like Planet of the Apes type thing, where like when you watch Planet of the Apes, you think it's like not Earth, and then you finish Planet of the Apes and you're like, is that the Statue of Liberty?
You blew it all to there. So,
like, it would be amazing.
This would be so cool. This would be so cool. And then, like, you have this being the original Earth. So then, like, when Cosmos falls,
Path,
he falls into
Path.
This one.
Look, Path gone cook.
Path cook.
So, all that explanation, indeed, so how to explain how the Xenosaga at the Earth basically disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me this is a mirror?
I'm saying that Mira is the original Earth, and the reason why they couldn't find it was because it went back to the upper domain.
It's travel time.
Yes, which also traveled through time.
Yeah.
So that will explain why
basically, there's multiple time travels happening between different places because they're not just moving time, they're also moving through space. So from what I understood listening to the theory, the Xenoblade 1 and 2 universes technically don't travel through time, but simply are different places. They travel through space, so they're different places.
Mm-hmm.
While so basically they could see.
They're kind of like simulations. They live in in different layers, but in the same reality. It's weird to explain.
So they could assist each other.
It's very weird to explain. But that's basically it. Now then, when these two Earths come together at the end of Xenoblade. At the end of Xenoblade 3. What's also happening, something also happens with this Earth. Cosmos will fall into it. This world will get connected to these ones as well. So we get all the Xenoblade characters in the same place. Or it could just be Cosmos falls into this planet, meets the Xenoblade X gang, and then using her abilities, they go back to the original, to this new world that is a combination of Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2. That is what I'm proposing. As for how the ganglion and ghosts appeared, despite the fact that they aren't supposed to be aliens, I don't know, they probably figured out how to cross the upper domain by accident. And as for the
so let's just basically put it very simply. This is not the first time Xenoblade has retconned itself. This is not the first time Xenoblade has retconned itself. So if it retcons some things just for the sake of, consistency between all the games, I'm fine with it. I know some Xenosaga fans will not. I do not give a shit.
Exactly. Also, in this theory, I'm also going to assume that Elma is a ghost. Right? Because it just helps.
Why?
Now then, ghosts have been heavily theorized to be connected to the Gnosis. Now, a theory that I am proposing is that the ghosts are the Gnosis of the people who came from the original Earth. The Earth was sent slightly back in time, and the humans and the White Whale was sent slightly to the future. Right? And then the ghosts are remnants of the original civilization that traveled in order to help humans from this realm. However, they failed, and then they had to knock them down into Mira so that stuff could happen. The ghosts knew that the White Whale had to go into the Mira. And the way that they did that was shooting down their ship, forcing them to be there, Why couldn't they communicate directly? I'm not really sure, but they must have some kind of plan. And I think that basically covers my theory. And all of that started with just thinking about the Napon. Now, again...
when Napons turn out to be the gods of the universe somehow.
Exactly.
I mean, again, Ricky had the sword. How did Ricky just casually have the final boss sword? Like, what? Excuse me?
Why not?
Ricky, okay, also, Ricky made a freaking artificial blade from nowhere. How did bro have that genius? Explain. What? Tora, oh my god, bro,
Dude, you are fumbling so bad.
Bro, the Alzheimer's is getting to me. I'm not lying.
You're so old.
I'm 800-year-old.
Actually, thinking about this theory could also explain how gonna create a new game from if they're gonna explain different plot points.
Okay, the thing is, this theory could just lead into the new story because, like, it's like it is the backdrop to how all the universe converge into this one big mess that we're hoping it kind of gets resolved. Not in X. I don't think it will get resolved in X.
No, it definitely
X is like the X is like the
stepping
here's X is the I'm here. This is how we got here. Now you just have to wait to see how it ends.
Also,
which
I
would
just
be
want to
awesome.
say this. A cool thing that this theory could propose narratively is that if we assume that the ghosts are the ancestors or the humans who survived the planet being exploded, if they were villains for some reason or if they were helping for some reason, one narrative thing would be very interesting. Lao's family would potentially be a part of the ghosts if my theory turns out to be true. Which means Lao could be reunited with his family, but not in the best, but they wouldn't be the same anymore.
Yeah, it would be kind of like how Dimitri reacts, like this, the way I'm imagining how Dimitri from Three Houses reacts to seeing Byleth alive after 5 years. But instead of 5 years, we're talking about like 10 years, you know?
10 years for Lao, an eternity for
his family.
But that
goes crazy.
I don't know if I cooked. I don't know if I made major mistakes. But this is just something I came up with my random thoughts. And I just wanted to present it to the Xenoblade community. See if because like even if this can't work, maybe it can provide a base for people who know more to expand on and correct things. And I just want to start a new conversation where we can propose a way that X and Xenosaga can coincide.
Y'all know, chat. Now you know. 9 years. We've had 9 years. We're dropping this. I think we started. I think Tech started this theory like almost a year ago, and I forgot to edit the script because yeah, this was a while ago. I forgot to edit the script. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, guys. I think Tech kind of cooked. This is for you to decide. This is definitely a very discussion heavy topic, but I think it's very good.
Please use the comments. Engage with the. First of all, engaging with it helps with the algorithm, but like the most important thing of all is that
the algorithm.
If you guys can comment there, like I want to see what people think about this theory. I want to see what mistakes I made. I want to see what proposed fixes there can be. I want to see how other ideas can mesh with this theory. I want to see your thoughts. So please, comment down below. Give us your thoughts.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, guys, because we need it. And for all of the guys that are watching this, because one of us forced them to, also subscribe. Don't be dumbasses, please. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That's it for the Tech Zero Podcast for today. There will be future content coming, and if I'm not mistaken, the next video is Fire Emblem. So stay tuned for that, y'all Fire Emblem fans. And if you're a Xenoblade fan, Xenoblade X Definitive Edition is coming up soon, so we're probably going to be dropping more videos related to that. And of course, if you haven't watched our previous video, go watch that. And leave your thoughts down below. We would love to hear you out. That's all for today. The Tech Zero Podcast signing off.